What's up, bro? I just wanted to make a quick video talking about a big mistake that I see a lot of YouTubers and people make when they're on self-improvement, and it's the fact that they abandon their friends. And you'll see a lot of YouTubers and a lot of YouTube videos and thumbnails talking about, they're not your friends, and don't hang around with your friends. And you hear this talk about, you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And I think there is a lot of truth in that statement. But the issue that I have with that is that self-improvement can be a really lonely place. You can disappear for a year and work on yourself and get some real stuff going for you in your life, and that's a great thing to do. But I don't think it's a wise thing to completely abandon your current friendship group if they're not on self-improvement themselves. I think what a much better thing to do is to try and get them onto self-improvement and talk to them about it. And it's not like you have to meet them all the time and surround yourself with them constantly, but it is good to have that kind of brotherly network of people. I think that's a really important thing to have when you're on self-improvement, because a lot of the ideas you're going to get and a lot of the examples that you're going to get of certain people and certain habits that people do and things like this can be drawn upon from your friends. And I'm not saying that you're going to use your friends as like bad examples of people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's a good kind of benchmark for you. You can really see your progress when you compare yourself to the people that you surround yourself with. Like, I'll give you an example. With my friendship group, they're all amazing people, and we recently started getting back sort of close together with an old friend who we hadn't spoken to much. And he's a good guy, but it was very evident the other night. We went out for my friend's birthday, and it's very evident that it's crazy like how far I've come in terms of my self-improvement journey personally, because I used to be like this particular guy that I'm talking about, and I used to take drugs. I used to drink a lot of alcohol and get absolutely shit-faced to the point where I didn't know what fucking day it was, and I couldn't remember getting home or anything like this. I used to do this every weekend without fail, literally, sometimes like 3 or 4 times a week. And it was a really bad kind of cycle, right? I couldn't get out of it. And self-improvement's really brought me out of that. But I think it's important to surround yourself with those people still and not just completely distance yourself from those people. Now, the only problem would come up is when you start to fall back into old bad habits, right? So let's say you have a friendship group of people who aren't in self-improvement. They drink a lot, they do all bad habits like drugs, and they just like play video games and stuff all the time. It's not really good if you surround yourself with them too much to the point where you start to fall back into old habits. But it's also, on the opposite end of the spectrum, not good if you don't see them at all, right? Because you're just going to be lonely. You're not going to have anyone to talk to. You're not going to be able to kind of like blow off any steam or anything like this. I mean, self-improvement is kind of stressful, right? You can meditate, you can improve your diet, you can start going to the gym and just feel better about your life and, work on a project, something like this, like YouTube. But you always need that kind of space to fall back into where it's just you and other people and that kind of like brothers, like that relationship that you have with the lads. We all know this if you're a guy watching this. There's kind of a different kind of chemistry when you're just all out with the boys, right? And if you're at the pub or whatever, or doing something, right? Or on a holiday or whatever. There's like this kind of different chemistry. And, a lot of guys talk about this, and it's kind of hard to put a finger on it, but there's this really special energy that comes about when it's just guys. And this can be for the good and for the bad. And that kind of special brotherly energy, I think, is super important for every guy to have, right? I think if you don't have this, it can seriously impact your mental health, and that's just going to really seriously negatively impact your self-improvement journey. Like, it's all well and good going monk mode and totally focusing on yourself and like making a business and like making money and doing all this stuff and like disappearing for a year, focusing on yourself. Like, that's good. But what's the point in doing that and achieving some of your big goals if that's at the cost of you sacrificing that kind of brotherly network around you? And I don't think that's a good trade-off. So I think there's a balancing act here. And I think it's good to just balance out the amount of times you see your friends compared to the amount of time that you spend with yourself, focusing on yourself and improving yourself. And that, I feel like, to be honest, in my self-improvement journey, I've struck that balance pretty well, right? I see my friends probably once every 2 weeks, right? And go out with them. And, you know, sometimes I'll have a few drinks if it's their birthdays, which has happened a lot recently because a lot of my friends have birthdays in February for some reason. But, you know, if I go out with them, let's say to go play pool or something like that, I'll just have like a non-alcoholic beer because I kind of like completely stopped drinking pretty much, right? Unless it's like their birthday, you know, but yeah, I'll just go out with them. I won't drink and I'll still have a good time. And it's good to just keep that connection, I think. But back to sort of that like kind of brotherly kind of vibe that you have with everyone, I was saying it's for the good and for the bad. So sometimes it's for the bad, right? You can be with all your friends and you know, you all kind of get a bit carried away and in terms of like drinking and alcohol and stuff like this, and it can turn into a bit of a messy situation that you're going to regret the next morning. But it can be for the good as well. I mean, the amount of conversations I've had when I'm just with like maybe 2 or 3 of my friends who are all quite ambitious, and we started talking about business and started talking about, you know, we could all get a house together and just like work on content and work on businesses and like what we could achieve. You know, that kind of brotherly energy that you get from being around your friends can really fuel you in a good way, like make you motivated as fuck, right? Like sometimes when I'm talking to one of my friends who's also ambitious, we kind of just start bouncing off each other with these ideas and motivating each other, and you can come out of that situation just thinking like, fuck, I'm just going to sit down and record a bunch of videos. Like I'm super motivated right now. So like, I think without that, for me, it would seriously impact my motivation. So I just think it's important to kind of have that friendship group around you. So if you do have a big group of friends that you're all your kind of guy friends, right? And they're all kind of just, maybe they just go out, drink every night and stuff like this. I wouldn't say completely avoid spending time with them if you've gone onto self-improvement and you want to improve yourself. Sure, if they're like seriously like bad dudes in terms of like, you know, they just take a bunch of drugs and they're like constantly maybe doing like yeah, like literally just, all I can think of is drugs, right? But maybe if you're like friends with a bunch of like criminals or something, like, yeah, maybe just don't hang out with those guys. But probably most of you aren't, right? You're probably just still friends with a lot of people from high school or college or something. Like spend time with them, man. Like every 2 weeks or so, just, you know, call one of them up. Do you want to meet up? Stuff like that, right? Self-improvement is super important, right? This whole channel's about self-improvement. I've been on it for 3 years. But in that whole time that I've been on self-improvement, I've never once not, you know, if my friend texts me to go out or something like this, I've never once said no, right? I'll always go out, I'll always meet them, because I do think it's important to have that kind of network of people around you, because who knows, if they become successful, if you become successful, those might be the next business partners in the future for you, right? And you don't want to cut off those relationships. So that was just a quick video just talking about that, because I know a lot of people think about, you know, who should I spend time with, who should I surround myself with, and I just think it's important to not completely cut people off if you are on self-improvement. So anyway, thank you for watching the video, bro. Remember, just improve yourself by 1% every day and you will get there. See ya.